Kokemachine for real fishing. One of the things I get asked about the most is what kind of lures do you like to throw on Nipissing? Now I'm going to throw this out there. I am not the wizard of fishing. There are tons of people out there who catch way more fish than me, catch bigger fish than me, and do way better than I do. However, I still love fishing and I've got my favorites that I like to use. So let's just have a little conversation about our favorite fishing lures, and I'm gonna start. So let me show you what I got here in my stash. If I just showed up at my favorite fishing hole, my very first lure to throw is gonna be a lipless crankbait. Usually if you show up and the bite's on, then this lure will get them right away because they'll be hungry, they'll be coming in. This one is a Sabile lipless sinker, which they actually don't make anymore, but there's tons of lipless crankbaits that you can get that are highly effective for this kind of job. Like this one is a Matsuo lipless crankbait. It's got sort of some funny gill plates on there, but overall it's got the blue on the back. I like the blue and silver, works well. Shad colors work well, perch colors work well. Now here's another one they don't make anymore, unfortunately. This is the Rapella Clack and Wrap. You can still find them around, but they are extremely effective, and they have this unique rattling can doodad inside that will really rattle the brains of the fish down there. I can tell you that I've caught all sorts of fish on this particular lure. You can see it's really worn out. Of course it's in a perch color. I think they still make clack and minnows, but these particular ones I don't think they make anymore. However, you know, it's just one of many that I would have in my stash. This is the rattle bait I would throw if things were kind of slow. Gold, for whatever reason, I find on a slow bite, gold colors work great. And this particular rattle bait is small compared to the first guy that I was bringing out. Now this big one here will even catch perch and stuff. Like perch, when they're hungry, they'll go after everything. So this one can be great for perch, pike, walleye. Yeah, you wouldn't think perch. It's a fairly big lure, and perch will definitely go for that. For those of you that are familiar with the Derber rig, which I made an animation for, basically you take a big old lipless crank like this, you put a plastic on each end, and then the fish that show up will take a shot at the plastic when they're attracted to the raw size and rattle of this bait. You can also dead stick this with a minnow on each end, and the minnows will actually shake the bait as they try to escape, which will rattle it, so it sort of adds an extra rattle sound to a live bait presentation. If you want to watch that Derber rig video, I suggest you don't watch it with your kids, because the early days of for-real fishing were full language broadcasts with very little censorship. Another of my favorite lures I like to throw out on Nipissing are the vibratos. When I bought them, they were made by Sabile, but I think now they've been bought out by Berkeley. They come in a whole variety of sizes and colors, as you can see. This one is glow. This one's a fire tiger, obviously. And then this one is a golden shiner. Now, if I was going to send anybody to get any of these lures, this would be the one, the golden shiner, in the smallest size they make, which is 10 grams. Maybe they make one that's 7 grams. Anyway, this particular one's really good when the fish are really finicky. It will catch them when nothing else will. However, when the fish are really hungry, these bigger ones work very well as well because, I don't know, bigger meal. So they'll definitely hit this one. And of course, having a variety of colors is awesome. However, if you're on a budget, just get the golden shiner. But I will say that all of them work fantastically. Buckshot rattle spoons. I love to throw a minnow on here or a minnow head. They've got lots of weight so you can get them down there when the school's coming in hard. And they make that subtle rattle. It's very subtle. Works well. Orange works great. Blue works great. Some of the ultraviolet colors work awesome. I've got a green ultraviolet one that works really well. It's like compact, has a lot of weight to it for its size. But you get it down there with a minnow and just occasionally rattle it. Works great. You could go out there on Nipissing with nothing but jig heads and be successful. You got some minnows, some jig heads, some minnows, and some grubs or swim baits. Those work great. I like a chartreuse grub I also really like these disco ball heads, I might call them. They definitely have the sparkles down, and this seems to make a difference in the summertime and in the winter as well. Put a little minnow on there, or a salted minnow, or a grub. Works great. I also enjoy the gold sparkle ball. This one as well is one of my faves. So if I'm going with jig heads, you know, blue, pink, they're great. These sparkle balls are fantastic. I like them a lot. If you ever see them, grab a couple. Slab grabber. These ones are another one where you'll have a situation where the fish are biting nothing, and then something about the way this slab grabber flips around gets their attention and they like it. This is great for perch, walleye, pike. It seems to do the job. I don't use this like every time I'm out, but it does the job great. I've got one in gold, and then this one in a stainless steel kind of look. And this little bead gives the perch or whatnot a target to hit. And definitely walleye like hitting this one as well. I believe these were developed by somebody on Simcoe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Slab grabbers, they call them. Here's one that they call the Magic Bean. And they are definitely magic when it comes down to it. It's another like really subtle little lure that you can put a minnow on. And when the minnow moves, it'll make the blade flip around. Sometimes you just need that small little bomb like this that gets down there and has a bit of variety to it, something fresh that they haven't seen, and the fish dig it. Now when the bite is really, really light and I don't know what to throw because they're not biting anything, a small golden spoon. I swear by small golden spoons, and I think that they don't necessarily need to be any spoon in specific. It just needs to be small and gold and a spoon, okay? I've bought one of these dinner bells in that style, small, golden, and I know a lot of people swear by these dinner bells, and I've really only started using them the last few years. Not going to rip on them, per se. I just haven't used them enough to say that they're my go-to lure. A lot of people love them, and I'd like to say that in the future I'm going to catch something massive on them. We'll see how that pans out. I also have a blue, silver with a gold blade dinner bell. And I hope this one's going to catch me something huge in the future. But I haven't used them enough to say that they're my go-to lures. Okay. Jigging wraps. My brother loves jigging wraps. I have a bunch of them. I use them regularly. They work well. Are they my absolute favorites? There's no reason why they're not in my favorite list. I just don't use them as often as other lures. But I've caught lots of fish with them. It's sort of like a lure I would use every once in a while. But my brother loves them, so I put that in the list here too. Now this is like an eyeball jig made by Northern Tackle Supply, the local guy here. And I like these for putting on my jaw jackers and whatnot because it's got the treble hook, but then it also has the flash of the eye there. But as well, it weighs a significant amount to keep your minnow down. I find that I like them for that kind of situation. I like the way the hook swings when the minnow's on there. A sweet presentation. Of course, for perch, a little tungsten jig with a plastic on the back. You can try all sorts of different plastics. I like these ones because they kind of look like little bugs. So you get them in black, orange, whatnot. But yeah, when the perch are sort of finicky, definitely a very small presentation will do the job. But like I said, when the perch are hungry, they will bite anything. I swear. Now here's a real left field lure for you. A lot of people don't throw them under the ice, but I do, especially when nothing else is working. And that would be a Panther Martin spinner. Now you might be asking yourself, like, why would you use a spinner when you're jigging? But here's the thing. When you bounce it up and down, the blade hits the body, it rings like a bell. As well, when you pull it up, it spins on the way up and then it helicopters back down. Spinners are a pretty essential part of the presentations people use in the summertime, and here's a chance for you to try it out during the winter. I like the blue and gold, works well. Definitely it's got that hypersonic vibration, so when you jig it up, it sends that hypersonic signal out and then helicopters down, fish on. So those are all my favorite lures that I like to use on Nipissing. I have a whole bunch of other lures, much like every fisherman out there. However, these are the ones that if I was going to show up to a fishing party, these are the lures I'd be dropping right away. And then eventually, if nothing was biting anything, I'd start trying all the other lures that I never had success with. And then probably would end up finding a new favorite lure that I've had for 10 years already. So what kind of lures do you guys like to throw down there? Let me know in the comments below. I'm sure a lot of these lures are pretty standard for everybody who's out there. But if you have any other lures out there that you really enjoy, please let me know. I'll probably go and buy them, because that's the way it goes. Talk to you guys later. Don't forget to hit the like button. I hope you guys are catching some fish out there.